entrepreneurs have to now be stewards of their vision and of the people who work within the vision. Because it's quite different now to just say you just want to be in control, you want to just be owner of the business. It's to run a business in Nigeria now, you need double dose of mental toughness to run a business and grow a business. In fact, to grow a business in Nigeria, it's a different ballgame. But to scale a business in Nigeria, it's very tough. So you need to be, for lack of a better word, you need to be jack of all your business trade. You need to know about everything that you do, because sometimes you might have to get things done yourself. So you need a lot of mental energy, you need a lot of, resilience, you need all of these factors. Because growing a business in Nigeria of now, it's so different. You need all your energy for you not to break down. Because sometimes, like mine said, like you have bad days, and you have a lot of that. A lot of things can shift immediately. Certain things that are not even within your control, and then you have to still maintain flexibility to be able to, run your business. But importantly, I think that businesses have to be extremely very nimble, no matter how big you become as a business. And when I use the word nimble, is about you. I think that's the word for new business enterprise that would scale the odds of Nigerian economy. You have to be nimble, and nimble in your decision making. That is, you can make a decision today, no matter how big your business is. You must be able to wake up the next day, and if anything changes at all, you have to be able to change the decision. So you can start your business from a very small. Your business can look like maybe a small car that you can turn from anywhere, but you can grow that business to become a train. But no matter how you grow the business to become a train, you need to be extremely very nimble. Don't make your decisions very rigid. Don't. In fact, if you make rigid decisions as a business owner, you're actually likely going to fail now in this because things can change. So you have to be very nimble, and I guess nimble is the word.
For someone starting out in the beauty industry, what is the smartest way to build partnerships?
When it comes to real partnership, you have to be thinking of long-term value. So some of the mistakes I made was trying to take advantage of people who I thought had a level of popularity that I didn't have. So I had friends who were in the movie industry, music industry, that had maybe 10, 15 million followers, and I'll send them my products. And what happens is people just look, but it doesn't actually turn into any kind of sales. So what I started to do was I started to dig deep and think, what is real valuable partnership for my business? And I started to understand that when it comes to partnership, the people that I really needed were the people who were working in the labs, creating the products, making sure that they're able to meet my demand as my demand increased. And when I say demand increased, not just in products, say I wanted to change anything, there's a new trend, there are new colors we want to create. I have this quick idea. They can actually get to work on it. The logistic companies, how quick are they able to come from the point of picking up to delivering to my clients? Do they really understand my service level engagement with my clients? And then when it came to influence, I started to realize that the people I really needed were people who were, I would call them drivers in my industry. So I started to partner with makeup artists, beauty influencers, beauty writers, and even myself. I started to use my own platform and I started to speak more, started to showcase my products myself. So when it comes to partnership, in conclusion, it's very important that you're leveraging off of people and businesses that have long-term goals and results, such as, your brand.
The media game is slightly different.
because the product is really your IP. It's what's going on in here and your vision. So when you're looking at partnerships where the media industry is incredibly competitive and cutthroat, an idea that you share can end up being basically developed on a platform that may have more funding, may have a better network or better partnerships within 24 hours of you sharing it with someone while you're busy looking for funding still and seeing who wants to partner with you. And that is the reality. Now, because of that, I think that when you're looking at partnerships, your first point of call is actually identifying the value of your IP. And how that comes in with a creative is you have to actually understand that every idea you have could be your next huge idea. And it doesn't mean operate in a state of delusion, but at the same time, it means understanding that every idea you have, before you get into a partnership, you cover yourself, whether it's with NDAs, whether it's making sure that all communication is done and there is written corresponding traces, where it's an email, or even I think WhatsApp now is being seen as something that can be used in those type of situations. So there is a clear train and trail of thought that shows where the original idea came from. And then as you proceed and develop it, it is covered with NDAs, with contracts, with service level agreements, just to make sure that as you develop this idea, you're covering yourself. Now, once you've done all of that, it's so important to find partners that believe in where you are now. And why I say this is, young, famous, and African, at that time, I was a journalist. And a lot of the people that I spoke to have no knowledge of me working in the producing or content creation space outside writing stories. And why that's important is because if you don't partner with people who can understand your vision but also acknowledge where you are now, you'll find that a lot of people won't even believe you can do it, or they will not be able to bring the right skill set or the right strengths to your weaknesses in order to complement that partnership to take your vision to the next level.
I think it's important to just be able to know what you want and what the boundaries are. That way you ensure you're taking care of self first. And, every other thing I think will fall into place with the partners. In my line of business, it's quite interesting that, when you start, you don't see what partners are like. You just do things. But the day you realize that you want to get something from Balogun Market and you can't go, and you have someone's number who sells fabric to you, and you call him and say, send the fabric and I'll send the money, and the guy goes, okay. In that clicks that you have a partner. Absolutely. But during the transaction, it didn't click, right? And, those kind of things happen sometimes when maybe the person running the errand for you didn't come to work. So you make it work and realize, oh, okay, this can be a way we can transact, going forward. And on my own kind of business, those are your first partners. Someone can give you fabric consignment of, 2 million naira and not even worry. But, you do not know you have invested that kind of money in the person already. They know because they're on the receiving end. So I think it's just clear to, define your boundaries so you do not slip. And it happens to us a lot in fashion. And partnership doesn't just mean business partnership. I mean, my customers are my partners because, I want them to be able to talk about my product without it being forced, because they're enjoying the product. So they go like, this guy is really, really good. So for me, it's a relationship whereby I want your feedback. I want to go over and above to satisfy you.